This is Jerry Corsi with a message for 1776 Nation. Now the Supreme Court has made a decision in Obamacare that it is constitutional. I believe we are faced with a fundamental issue that the Tea Party can be revitalized on. Justice Roberts' opinion makes it clear that Obama lied. Obamacare is a tax. And the Democrats now, starting in November 2012, have got to face the reality. They can't lie to the American people anymore about the cost of these social welfare programs. Obama, all the Democrats in the House, all the Democrats in the Senate facing re-election have got to now embrace Obamacare as a tax. Fundamentally, this is going to be against the entire grain of what Obama promised in his lying promises, which is pretty typical these days for Barack Obama, that we would not be taxed to have Obamacare put into place. Not only a tax, but if you don't comply with the demand of the federal government to go out and buy health insurance, the IRS is going to hunt you down like a dog and impose a tax on you. We've just empowered the IRS to come after Americans if they don't take a step directed by government, forcing a purchasing decision in the marketplace. But this should revitalize the fundamental concerns of the Tea Party, that a social welfare state expanding to any imaginable program the Democrats and their socialist buddies can figure out will inevitably bankrupt the United States, as it has bankrupted Western Europe, going down the route of Greece or Spain or Italy, all countries in which there's elaborate promises for social welfare benefits, none of which can be delivered because the petty bureaucrats in Luxembourg and Brussels or in Washington, D.C., only get an opportunity under these kinds of programs to enact their petty ideas of social engineering and social justice. Two phrases the communists would be happy to have in their vocabulary. If Obama were more honest, he would fess up to his socialist roots. The Tea Party was formed around these concerns, around the concerns that Americans are taxed too excessively already. This is a job-killing measure. We've got to go back to the 9th and 10th Amendments. The states have to be able to say no. This decision, where Justice Roberts is championing a court of the left, saying that Obamacare is constitutional, goes right in hand with a decision, again, that very disappointingly, Justice Roberts was not able to prevent on the wrong side of the fence, not seeing again that Arizona and SB 1070 had the right to protect its own citizens against an illegal immigrant invasion, that the federal government has notified the states. The Obama administration has now made it clear it will not enforce the immigration laws. I think the Tea Party has to understand that we're dealing here with an imperial presidency that has no regard for the Constitution, and a Supreme Court that is increasingly becoming irrelevant because the Supreme Court itself is on this federalist kick of expanding government powers. Our founding fathers, when the Constitution was formed, the sovereign was first we the people. Second, it was the states who agreed to a federal government of limited powers. And that limited powers were only those enumerated for the federal government in the Constitution. That's what the 9th and 10th Amendments are about. 1776 Nation was created out of my conviction that we are headed towards the greatest states' rights, basically revolution. The states saying to the federal government, we aren't playing this game anymore. And the American people saying, we aren't either. Greatest states' rights revolutions that we've seen in the country since the Civil War. And this is on the questions of expanding government, a federal government that's out of control, and taxation to go along with it. We're on a socialist or Western European social welfare state model. Government taxes you entirely, ultimately says you don't have private property, ultimately says everything is for the common good, and redistributes to you those limited social welfare benefits the government decides you deserve, along with death panels and all the other restrictions of service that come with a bureaucratically driven government expansion of a social welfare state. This is something I think that has become a fundamental issue now and framed the issue for 2012. Obamacare and the Democrats have no choice but to run on Obamacare as taxation. And if Harry Reid tries to block a reconsideration now in the House of Obamacare, a repeal and replace motion, I think you're going to find that the Democrats are going to all stay away from the DNC 2012 convention. Obama is not delivering the globalist agenda. I think he's becoming damaged goods. He's so ineffective, so incapable, such an amateur, that he can't even pass a bill like this, Obamacare, with maintaining the lie intact. If Justice Roberts did anything, he exposed the lie, saying that this is in fact a tax, and let the Democrats ride into November with the biggest tax increase in history. What I'm asking you to do now is please support 1776 Nation. We've got to fight this. We've got to come together. The Tea Party is the basis on which we can mobilize a movement unlike any that the federal government has seen since the days of the 1860s. And we need to roll back an imperial federal government if in fact we're to retain our liberties that are inalienable, meaning from God, not derived from Barack Obama, not derived from Justice Roberts, not derived from the Supreme Court, derived from the authority and the sovereignty of we the people. Thank you. This is Jerry Corsi with, I think, a very important message for 1776 Nation.